Good morning. Finally, took me a few minutes to get live. Let's get TikTok also on it. Good morning, good morning. How is everybody? Today we're talking about man. On Thursday, I posted a video about why you might have issues with man. I hope you watched it. And today I thought a few of you asked me about what is this particular placement means and that particular placement. So I decided to make it a video, to make it a live, and maybe you have questions, you can ask me those questions. So we're going to talk today about what does particular placements mean for you. So when you are dating a man, you know when his birthday is, you can make a natal chart and you can look at where his placements are and what they will mean for you and for your relationship overall. I will tell you what I'm looking for. I will tell you what you should look for, and I will tell you what you should what you should react like what is your what should you look out for when you want to have a relationship with somebody. So me usually when I get to know somebody, I don't rush to do a natal chart because certain placements would just turn me off. I wouldn't even socialize with the person, and I do want to get to know somebody, so obviously. But if you don't want to waste your time, I will tell you. That's so sweet. So I will tell you what you should kind of look for. All right. So when you don't, what I want to say is that when you're dating somebody, don't rush into making natal chart. Don't ask a man for his birthday and date of birth. I mean, place of birth and all that. I mean, it's not really that important when you're connecting with somebody. If a man is in your life, there is a reason why he came. He's showing you something, reflecting you something, and do that. Yeah, take the notes. There is a reason why he came. So even if you guys are not compatible, there is a reason why he's there. You see, so you can learn something from him. Now, for all the placements that I will tell you, you don't really need to know his place of birth or his time of birth. So as long as you know his the date of birth, you can make approximate natal chart, because the placements that I will be talking about will be something big, like his Mars, his Sun, and for the most part you can get it approximately. So let's start with what you should be looking for. All right. So when you're dating somebody, when you're dating a man or anybody else for that matter, if you want to find out, you need to look for the personal planets. Don't look where his Uranus is or where his Neptune is. It's not important. Why? I'll make sure I will do a natal chart for you. um, because why is it not why are those social planets are not important for you? Because really those social planets are important for his development, not really. Yeah, good morning, Helen. The social planets are important for his development. For example, his Pluto, his Saturn, I mean his Uranus, his Neptune, these are not really important for your relationship. It's what he needs to develop by himself in the society. So it really has no effect on your relationship whatsoever. So if his Uranus is in Sagittarius, I mean, then he's probably will be more abrupt. I mean, he will do have huge changes in life, but it has really nothing to do with you, because you are connecting with him on only one level. So don't look in those planets. Those are not important. You should be looking at personal planets. Personal planets are what is connecting you and him together. His social planets are not connecting you and him together unless you guys working together or have some kind of project. So when you're looking at the chart of the man, you should always look for his Sun, for his Mars, his Moon, and his Venus, and Ascendant if you have, but this and Mercury. So these 5 planets that you need to look for, and I will tell you what all of them mean. So when you're the masculine planets are Sun, Mars, and Mercury. His Sun is what this man is representing. So how he presents himself in the society. So he's outside, his persona. Now his Moon is his soul, and his Mercury is his way of communication. So if you're a very sensitive, very kind of quiet person, and you got a man with Mercury in Aries, I mean, um, like, how are you guys going to live together? Mercury in Aries is very loud, very outspoken, you know, talking on the phone very loudly, like listening music very loudly, like very kind of very somewhat aggressive approach to socializing with others. I mean, even comes off as a little rude. And you're all sensitive. I mean, there will be always miscommunication. You will always be thinking that he is almost threatening you, and he will be like, I don't understand why she's upset. It's my normal way of communicating. Like, I have a friend like this. I have Moon in Pisces, so I'm sensitive, and his Mercury is, he's a very kind, very loving person, but his Mercury is in Aries. So sometimes he says things that I'm like, but he knows me for so long, so he knows that with me he should be careful, but with others he just can blurt out things that are impossible. So these are the things that you need to look for. Again, it's his sun, so how he presents himself in the society. Remember, you're going to be with this man, so you're going to go outside with him, you're going to present him to your friends, to your relatives. You need to know how he is in life. And then you need to look for his moon. What is his moon? His moon is his soul. And I will go through all of them one by one, but just for them. So his moon is his soul. Now, I would never date a man who has a moon in Pisces. Why? Because it's a very sensitive placement. I wouldn't want to have a baby on my hands. I already have a moon in Pisces. So moon is important. This is how a man reacts to everything, how he feels when it comes to people around him. So moon is important as well. This is where his connection to his mother also. You can, from his moon, you can already know how he what is his communication with his mom, how he feels about his mom. And from there, I mean, obviously what he will be expecting from you. Now, his Mars is very important. Me personally, I always look at Mars, where Mars in man's life is. So, for example, I would never date a man with Mars in Virgo or Mars in Cancer. Why? Because Mars in Virgo is just will drive you crazy. I mean, with everything has to be on its spot. You could not do this. You need to do this. It's like they're training a dog all the time. And they're usually very practical. So, you're my moon. This is so sweet. So I would not date a man like this. It's just not for me. Now, Mars in Cancer, I would not date. Why? Because man, Mars in Cancer are very, very feeling, you know, they're very emotional, but they are not very secure in their life, and they are not very, they're caring, but they could not provide me what I need. So probably I wouldn't date somebody like this. So, but Mars is important. This is his actions, his activity, how he acts as a man. This is his masculinity, you know. So you need to look for that, and then you need to look for, obviously, for his Mercury, the way of his communication. This is how he will talk to you, how he will flirt with you, how he will express himself. And then you need to look for his Venus. Why? His Venus will be his expectations of you in his life. So if his Venus is like, for example, I was dating this guy. My Venus is in Sagittarius, so I'm very fiery. Very, when it comes to the relationship, I'm not really sitting and thinking twice. Now, but I was dating a man whose Venus is in Pisces, so he expects his woman to be somewhat quieter, maybe even dreamy, like this. And we were clashing on this because, at that time, I couldn't understand why we're clashing because of that. So you need to know what man's expectations are to his woman. So if I knew that, maybe I would be a little on the quieter side. Maybe I would be a little more patient, a little more dreamier, because I am. It just, I don't usually express myself like this. So these are 5 placements that you need to look for in a man. If you have right now open a natal chart, do look for them. So again, it has, and then I will tell you what else you need to look. But for now, it's his sun, his moon, his Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Now let's go through all of them. So if you now, before I will go into details, let me tell you something. If you're attracting a man with particular energy, that's the energy you need right now. So if you're attracting a feminine man, don't blame the man. It just means that you're masculine. You need to push down your masculinity a little bit and become more feminine. So the man next to you can become masculine. If you're attracting a feminine man, that means that you don't have enough softness, and that man will bring you the softness. Now, if you want more security, then you need to be to believe that you can get that security, so you will attract that man. So again, man, they come, this is just how it is. If you don't like the man that coming into your life, don't blame the man. Just you need to make sure that you work on yourself. Why? So I'm looking, usually I don't go for feminine men. Feminine men don't really appear in my life much, but I wouldn't go. Why? Because feminine men are weaker. They really need to, these are the men that cheat. These are the men that hold grudges. They are not, it's not easy for them to live. Just like masculine women, not easy to live. They need to work on their femininity. Feminine man needs to work on their masculinity. And I have 4 videos on different energies of man. You can watch them. I'll put them here. Man, energy of air, fire, earth, and the water. You can know more. But what I want to say is that I would not go for feminine man. It will express, especially if his sun, Mars or Mercury is in feminine planets, especially in water. I wouldn't go for those men at all. And as long as I know, pretty much every astrologer says the same. So why is it so? Well, because he will be expressing himself femininely. And if I'm a feminine woman, one of us has to be masculine. How are we going to, like, I was dating this guy, he was Aries sun, but he had his Mars and his Mercury in water. And I'm like, it's either we will be very happy together, we will drown each other in emotions. And that's exactly what happened. We drown each other in emotions. This is not right. This shouldn't be like this. You see, you have to have a balance, a healthy balance, and man and woman should usually complement. Now, you would feel more comfortable with the man that is somewhat like you. So if I will talk to somebody who has a lot of energy of water, I will feel very comfortable with that man because he is like me. Will I be attracted to him? Probably not. Will I grow with him? Probably not. Will I get bored of him? Probably yes, very, very fast. So ideally, you should choose somebody who's uncomfortable. And these are usually the opposite energy to yours. So for me, it could be somebody with energy of air. I don't have none of that, or energy of fire. And again, these are hard placements for me. But with these placements, I grew with men, and I stay interested in men, and they stay interested in me. We help each other. We are not the same. So on that, and I even put over here, I would rather validate somebody's ego than navigate somebody's emotions. It's very draining and unnatural. With the feminine man, you can become his mom very easily because it feels like they're very needy emotionally, and you will often women become their moms kind of, and this is wrong because they will not appreciate you for that. So I would stay away from feminine man. I mean, as bad as it sounds, unless you know how to stay in your role and you will help him to build up his masculinity. I wouldn't even do that because there are a lot of men. Why would I even waste my time? I already did the wasting of my time. I dated a feminine man. Again, they're feminine as long they can become masculine as long as they're challenged. And I'm too empathetic to challenge them all the time. With the masculine woman, they can be challenged, and who knows, hopefully at one point they will become masculine themselves. It's a constant growth, constant kind of work. All right, so let's start with the important one, with Mars. This is the planet that you should look at. This is the way a man is going to act with you, act in life, act in everything. So I would rather you all go for a man with Mars in air or fire, or Mars in Capricorn. Mars in Capricorn is not, it's earthy sign, but it's where Mars feels the most comfortable. So the least comfortable feels in Cancer, the most comfortable in Capricorn. I would go for those men. Why? Because those are men that will act masculine when the need for acting will come. So, for example, when he needs to invite you out, he will act. He's not going to sit over there and, oh, I don't know how she feels about me, maybe or maybe not, or maybe I should kind of pretend that I like her so she will offer to go out or something like that. You see, Mars is how the man acts. So he will act when you start dating, and then he will act in the future. So he will be the one initiating everything. He will be the one like speaking out. He will be the one who will kind of do the actions. If you want a man who will do actions, you need to choose a man with Mars in masculine signs, or Mars in Capricorn, because it's in its peak over there. Look at your natal chart. Your natal chart usually shows where your Mars is. Where your Mars is usually the most compatible man for you. My Mars is in Capricorn, and I attract men that are like this, Mars and Capricorn, who are put together, who presentable, who have some kind of business, who are independent, who are very secure in their surrounding. That's true. I always was before I even knew about Mars and Capricorn and anything about Mars. I always was attracted to such men. Usually, these are men, the Capricorn men. They are not easy, but then my Mars and Capricorn is not easy. So these are the men that I prefer. Look where your Mars is. Now, if you have a Mars in Pisces and you will choose a man with Mars in Aries, it would be very difficult for you. Why? Because you expect a man to be dreamy, and now a man is acting. So it has to be somewhat compatible to your Mars. So, for example, if your Mars is in Earth, then the compatible Mars would be in fire or water. But then again, we're not taking a man with Mars and water, we're taking Mars with fire. If you will take a man with Mars and air, he will be opposite to your Mars. So you're expecting a man to be secure, and Mars with in air is very okay. Today I'm here, tomorrow I'm there. So like this, you see, you must understand. So Mars in air will not be buying the house, building, investing money, securing for the future. Mars in air will be like, okay, everybody's in Europe, let's go to Europe, let's spend our last kind of dollars to go to Europe. It will be very hard for you. You will develop, but it will be a really hard development. If you will have Mars in fire, for example, you will be able to ground him a little bit. So he will be all about actions, but you will be like, look, we can go, but can we have like left over some of the money? You see, you would be able to ground him. So this is how you should choose. So look at your Mars and look at your man's Mars. If they're opposites, so the opposites are water, fire, earth, and air. If they're opposites, you're probably not very compatible on the masculinity part. It will be challenging for you. Not as dramatic, but it would be challenging for you. But again, I would rather you have a man with the Mars and masculine planets in fire or air than to have a man with the Mars in water, even if it's super compatible with you. Why? Because at the end, you need a masculine man in your life. You could not be staying with the man who is feminine. This just will not do. You will never be able to develop your femininity if a man you are with is feminine. One of you will have to step up and become a man. And usually, very often, a woman becomes that. Okay, so just very fast about every single one of them. The Mars and Aries, these are men that act like almost like children. They jump in on every kind of opportunity. They don't think twice about anything. They're like this. Man in Taurus, they like their comfort. There's a man that don't really move much. They like the comfort. They like to save, but they are not very easy to get up and go. There's a feminine placement. Again, you will always have something to eat with this man, but they're heavy. Heavy to the point that basically all they care about is good food and good place of living. And I socialize with men like this, and I can tell you this is true. At one point you will get tired of him unless he has other placements. Man in Gemini, Mars in Gemini is very outgoing, social. This is a man that will socialize with everybody. So with Mars in Gemini, they basically they connect into a lot of people and they know a lot of people. So Mars in Cancer is very caring. He will cook, he will stay at home, he will clean, he will take care of that. If you need a good father for your kids, like a really caring father, and you don't care about nothing else, Mars in Cancer is just perfect. He will be a perfect, most loving kind of father. Mars in Leo is very ego-oriented. He will be a splurger. If you're a person who is like a saver, who likes to save, not to spend on nobody, then Mars in Leo is not a man for you. He will be spending all his money on you, on everybody around, just to impress others, to validate his ego, and then he will be sitting without money for another couple months. That motivates him to make money, but also you would need to learn how to keep the money, to have control, somewhat control over his actions and his money. You also will need to learn how to validate his ego all the time. Otherwise, he will find who he will be spending money on. Mars in Virgo, as I said, these men are very practical. They're not very secure about themselves. They're all about little things. They're picking on every little thing. If you have your hair is laying a little wrong, he will be picking on that. Mars and Virgo, I think this is the worst placement, but they say Mars and Cancer. So anyways, Mars and Virgo also, they're practical when it comes to presents. So if you want somebody to buy you a lot of presents, these are Mars and fire signs. Mars and Virgo will think twice, maybe half a year before buying you a rose. Then Mars in Libra, really good placements for men. Why? Because they're very, this is what makes good politicians, Mars in Libra. For you, what is good, at least you know that you will have a good circle of friends and you guys will always be kind of on the spotlight. This is for sure. Mars in Scorpio is probably the best sex, the best intimacy, the deepest kind of connection. But again, it's a very dark placement. The guy will be plotting. If you will do him wrong, he will be very vengeful. He will be almost wanting you to guess his feelings. It's difficult. I wouldn't date somebody with Mars in Scorpio, and I knew a couple of those men. I mean, I have no patience to play those games. So Mars in Sagittarius is a good placement, but maybe not the best placements for relationship. Why? Because those men are today here, tomorrow there. So they are very unpredictable, and you just need to learn to live with that, or just let that man go. Mars in Capricorn is a good placement. These are men very secure, not very emotional though. So if you need somebody to sing you how they love you and how they need you, this is not the man. This man will probably never say anything sweet to you, but will take care of you. And if he will choose you, probably he will never divorce you. Now, Mars in Aquarius is good placement for men, not the best placement for a woman to be with a man like this. Those men are very idealistic. They're here and there. They have ideas. They want to spend their time working on their ideas, working with other people. So they're usually not into a relationship. Men with Mars and Aquarius often are single. So if you are lucky to have a man like this, then you are really respecting his freedom and his choices in life. And men with Mars and Pisces are usually not doers. Lucky if they're rich or if they have somebody who's telling them what to do. These men are usually not very strong, not very masculine strong, unless they have other placements. So they are more like dreamy, more. These men are usually getting addicted often. So if you don't want somebody, like if you are dating a man with the Mars in Pisces and he likes to drink, likes to have occasional kind of use of forbidden substances, then know that it's very possible that he might become addicted. So if you don't need this kind of problems, then maybe Mars and Pisces is not for you. So this is the Mars. Mars is most important. When I talk to a man, this is their planet that I look at. Everything else is adjustable and not as important. Just as man should look at woman's Venus, a woman should look at man's Mars. So if you have questions, you can ask about the Mars. Now, let's do the Sun. Sun is also masculine planet and very important. Sun is how a man presents himself. So Mars is how he acts. Sun is how he presents himself. So, for example, Sun in Aries, you probably know these people. You can see them and feel them and hear them from far away. They're usually bright. They dress bright. They present themselves bright. You know, when they come into the room, everybody knows that they come. They are loud. They are making this kind of noise. If you don't like this kind of attention, then man with the Sun in Aries is probably not for you. Their favorite color is usually red, and they are bright. Honestly, they are bright. I have nothing against that, honestly. So I wouldn't mind to have a man with the Sun in Aries. Now, Sun in Taurus, it is a man they could get heavy. It is a man that don't move much. This is how they are presented. They usually look good though. Even when they become heavy, they dress up nice. A man with the Sun in Taurus and women also, they usually have an impeccable style. So if you want an always presentable man with the never changing style, then he will be perfect, like this old money kind of look. This man will be perfect. Now, Sun in Gemini, these people are, this man are, like they're very social, they're here and there, but they're not very memorable. So they're more like a fleeting kind of moment. So I'm not, this is a man in Gemini, not probably the best they could be a good partner if you are not looking for consistency. I actually had very good experience with men who had Gemini placements. Why? Because at that moment I really didn't care much about consistency, and they were light, they were not heavy, and it was a good kind of good kind of relationship at that moment. So, but they're like this now. Man with the sun in Cancer, I usually um, I wouldn't say vulnerable, but they're caring, they're soft, they will speak to you, they will ask about your problems for no reason, like they would pretend to be this moms, and for no reason, honestly, they're usually heavy. They have problems, and their weight is usually like this weird kind of. So they don't just gain weight; they have like a little gain here, a little gain in there. You know, like very strange. They have obviously cellulite, and if you are looking for a man who is sporty, know that man with the sun and Cancer is probably will have problems with the weight. Unless he's constantly working out, he will have issues, and he will have issues with hormones as well. So that's unfortunate for them. Now I knew man in Cancer who was very kind of was perfect body, and then but he had issues. He was working out pretty much all his life. Now man and Leo, these are bright people. You know, these are people that love attention, and they will get the attention. These are men that fish for attention all the time. So they are expecting attention, and if you are not ready to give the attention, then man with the sun in Leo is not for you. He will do anything to get that attention from you. He will buy you presents. He will do especially if he has a Mars in Leo also, he will do anything for you as long as you kind of validate him and tell him how amazing he is, how beautiful his car is, how perfect his style is, even if it's not perfect. So these are like this. These men look for attention. They will look all the time. If you will not give them the attention, they will find somewhere else. These men, though, are faithful. So masculine men are usually faithful, even though it looks like they might be here and there, like Geminis. It's usually not. It's just fleeting kind of thing for them. So to talk to somebody to validate, they either somehow man and Leo I'm talking. But they usually faithful. Now the sun in Virgo usually look really good. Man with the sun in Virgo looks good. They're presentable. All Earth sign men with the sun look good. So they usually tall. They usually in a good weight. They usually dress nice, and they are very presentable. They're presentable to others. So when they know how to speak to everybody, they're connecting on the heart. So they know how to be. If this is important for you to have this man with the kind of perfect persona, so to say, at least outside, not inside, this is the man for you. Now, man with the sun in Libra are very not only communicative, but they are loved by others. So they are really loved by others. Seems like everybody loves them. They are not very deep when it comes to connecting to other people. So if that's the man you want, the man that is loved by others, if you have no problems with jealousy, then this man is perfect for you, because you will know everybody loves him. He's smiling to everybody. Everybody talks to him, and he's just he dresses. He has a good style, not old money kind of style, but kind of some good style, like light, and seems like unbordered style, but still good. And everybody loves him. If you have no problems with sharing him with others, this is a man for you. Like me in school, in middle school, we had this guy. He had sun in Libra. Everybody loved him. Everybody till now loves him. He's just such a perfect, lovable person, and all the girls felt like he was loving them too. It was the craziest thing. So man with the sun in Scorpio is dark and mysterious, and women often go for them. Why? Because they're dark and mysterious, and women always want to kind of something unusual. Especially masculine women go for man with the sun in Scorpio. You can even look them. They have this deep features. They are not very handsome usually in a normal kind of sense. They usually not very tall, but they have deep kind of eyes, and those eyes are like really, really like they speak, so to say. And women do go for them. So if you want this some unsolved mystery at all times, then this is a man for you. Man with the sun in Scorpio. Now, a man with the sun in Sagittarius, again, this man doesn't belong to you. So if you're ready to share him with the world, they're not necessarily they're going to cheat, but they are here and there, and they need their freedom. So this man, again, he also needs validation, but validation of his actions and his ideas. If you will validate his crazy ideas, then he will be very, very faithful to you. And as long as you are not holding to him, Sun in Sagittarius is like this for everybody, woman and man. They do feel like need deep connection, but they truly don't. And as long as you're not holding down to him, as long as you give him his freedom, and you are bright and you have like a really bright, inspiring life yourself, you will be fine with him. So there's a man with the sun in Sagittarius. They are not usually the handsomest ones, but they have really this charm, the charisma, and the women do love them for this kind of for them. They don't usually gain weight per se. They don't really care how they look for the most part, but so if you don't really care how your man looks, they can really almost look homeless, like they wouldn't care about their facial hair, like very often, unless they have other placements. It's not important for them, so to say. So if this is somebody that you can tolerate, I mean, very charismatic man, but looking almost like he doesn't care about himself, then this is the man for you. Now, a man in Capricorn with the sun in Capricorn, these men are very respected. You can see it from far away. So they usually, because they present themselves nice, they are very confident. They are loved from far, far away. So you can feel their strength from far away. And if you want this man, and if you are able to kind of to go through through this wall that he built around him, this wall of confidence and strength, and if you are ready to kind of sneak inside, then this is a man for you. Again, these men are very they have a strong plan for their life, and they are not going to change it for you. Neither of earthy man will do. So you would need to kind of become part of their plan, and then slowly change, like slowly influence him to change, and he will be grateful that you are showing him a different side of life. So this would be a man with the sun in Capricorn, but this man are bright, like not bright. They're known, they're respected. You will see them from far away. You can see them, you can feel them. Man with the sun in Aquarius, I wouldn't say even worse than sun in Sagittarius, but they really don't. Kanye West, there you go. This a man that really has almost a revolutionary kind of ideas on how he should look and how he expresses himself. So these if you want a man like this, like completely different from everybody else, then the man in Aquarius is with sun in Aquarius is for you. He will really, really show himself like that. So a man with the sun in Pisces will be very he will be almost like quiet, could gain weight. People will love him, but he would be like really didn't care much about the socialization. So if you are social butterfly and you want to be seen and be heard, then the man with the sun in Pisces is not for you, because he will not. He is bothered by this kind of the crowds and by you wanting to be social. So unless you can manage it on your own, then don't even bother a man with sun in Pisces. Unless he has other placements, maybe his moon is in Leo, for example. All right, so this is they don't really care much for their appearance as well. So they can like have their hair overgrown. They have this IT kind of homeless look on them. So unless they have different placements. So this is the sun. Sun is the second important when you choose a man. Mars is very important because Mars is how the man will act, and this is obviously what is important for you. So Mars is sun is the second important because you're going to be seen with this man. The third one is moon. Why? Because you guys are connecting somehow. So you need to make sure that connection is it's compatible. So moon has to be compatible to your moon, or at least it should not be opposite. So for example, if my moon is in let's say my moon is in Pisces. So let's imagine I will have a man with a moon in Virgo. So I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be nagged. I don't want to be kind of like, I don't want like little things to get into under my skin. A moon in Virgo will be like that, you see. So you should make sure that your moons are compatible. This is important if you want to have that soulmate kind of connection, somewhat compatible. So for my moon in Pisces, what would be a compatible moon? It would be Scorpio, Cancer, could be Capricorn, could be Taurus. So all like planets like this would be compatible. What would not be compatible? A moon in Sagittarius, moon in Aries, moon in moon in Leo. Why? Because my moon is in water and the fire is opposite. So see where your moon is, and the opposite energy will not be. For me, even moon in air is more compatible than moon in fire. Why? Because look, if I'm vulnerable and I could get offended, a moon in Sagittarius will be like, I don't understand why you're getting offended. He would be shouting at me almost, like his soul would be shouting at me almost, because he wouldn't understand what's happening. He would be fighting my moon in Pisces or moon in Leo. He wouldn't understand why I'm upset when he's the one who is kind of has the right to get the validation like this. You see, or moon in Aries, he will not even he will not even think about my emotional state at all. So you need to, this is important if you really want to connect. If this is a relationship, not just some kind of not your usual sugar daddy kind of just connection, or not somebody, not an admirer, or not somebody who you just dating for a couple of months, but somebody who you want to build a family with, then you need to choose the moon right. Moon is important. Again, moon is what the soul of a man, inside a man. You know, he will never. And with the moon, as I said, choose the man with the moon that is not watery. Why? Because a man with the moon in water is weak inside already. So no matter where his Mars is, his moon is doubtful. Like this guy I told you, I knew he has. I actually knew a few of them like this. So he has Aries sun, but his moon was weak. Was his moon? I think was in Cancer, and because it was in Cancer, he couldn't act on his. And his Mars was actually strong too, but he couldn't act because his soul was always doubtful, was not sure. You know how water is, so that was not good for a man. Mars and Moon should be kind of strong, air or fire, or at least Earth. It has to be. His soul needs to be secure, like that. And I don't really need to go through all of them. It's pretty similar, but Moon and Aries, they don't get offended. So this man will never get offended. You can tell him anything. They also don't expect others to be offended. They're more focused on themselves. The soul is basically belong to them. Moon and Taurus is basically people who just want to be left alone. They just want to have pleasures in life. They're ready to give others pleasures like this. They're very also self-centered. Moon in Gemini needs constant communication, needs kind of constant socialization. That's what they crave. That's what the soul is for. They also don't really get offended. They really, frankly, don't care about anybody or anything. Moon in Cancer is somewhat sensitive. They believe that they should give the best to the people, and the people should give the best to them. Sensitive, so be careful with that. Also doubtful. Moon and Leo, these people need validation so bad. They crave the spotlight. They crave the validation all the time. So unless you're ready to give that, don't get with the man who has a Moon in Leo. It's important. You see, it's not that he's doing actions to get validation. This man will sit quietly and just want you to realize how great he is, and tell him that. Now, Moon and Virgo, those men are basically, they just need to be loved for being practical. I wouldn't go for Moon and Virgo. Why? Because they're very shady kind of. You're not sure what they want or how they want. They want everything to be according to how they prefer to have, but they also want to be recognized for that. So it's very strange, honestly. Moon in Libra, those men just value lightness. If you have a man like that, don't put your problems on him. He will get rid of you very fast before you get rid of your problems. So those men crave lightness. They want to believe that everything is peachy in their world. Moon in Scorpio is deep. These are the ones that you can put some kind of drama on. They want you to kind of to have that a little bit. Moon in Sagittarius, inspiring. They want somebody who will inspire them around them. They want something that will be interesting. So they're curious, constantly curious souls like this. And if you are not like that, if you never traveled, if you never left your hometown, then this man is not for you. Moon and Capricorn, these are people that are everything should be according to how they. So they have their own comfort zone, and they want to stay in that. And if you are not in that comfort zone, if you don't want to stay in that comfort zone, then you don't belong in their world. So their soul earns for stability. And if you don't give that stability, you're probably not for this man. So Moon and Capricorn are like this. Moon and Aquarius so Moon and Sagittarius want to explore. Moon and Aquarius want to have new ideas. They want to create some kind of new, absolutely weird stuff. Like they want something unusual. They crave for that unusual. And if you are like very predictable, if you, for example, have Moon in Capricorn, then maybe Moon in Aquarius is not compatible to you, because really, I mean, you want to have your schedule. You want to go to sleep at 9 p.m. and he wants to experiment with his day and his body and everything. So, and Moon in Pisces is the most vulnerable one. As I said, I wouldn't want to have a man with Moon in Pisces, and I know a couple of those. These are very sensitive men. You can tell them something and they will think about this. Moon in Cancer, Moon in Scorpio are also sensitive. These are people that don't really speak up their emotions. They could get offended and sit in those emotions and drown in them, and then in a few days they will blur it out. You really made me upset. It's hard to be around those men, because it's like you have to be always very careful. Did I say something wrong? Did I or did I not? Like this. And I mean, I could not be babying a grown-up man. But Moon in Pisces is the most vulnerable, so you have to be really careful with these people, with anybody, man or woman or anybody. But if it's a woman, I mean, it's at least somehow forgivable. But when it's a man and he's sitting over there brooding and feeling that everybody hates him every single day, I mean, it's not going to do for a relationship. You need a man who's strong, who's confident. So this probably, I would avoid these placements when it comes to the moon. So now this was the moon. Moon is important. Again, important to connect on your with your souls. If you are compatible, like the friends that I have were the most compatible with our moons. And I didn't know this. I only know this like a few years, but I have friends for years and years, for decades. These are the friends that we're compatible with our moon. Why we stay friends? Because when we talk, we kind of it's like our souls are almost connected, you see. And I have very masculine friends, but our moons are compatible. So, and the same with men. The men that are staying in my life, they are somewhat compatible with my moon. All right, so this is the moon. Again, look into this. For the moon, though, you might need to have his time of birth, because moon changes every 2 days, so you might not kind of guess. All right, so this is the moon, important also. The next one is Mercury. Why Mercury is important? Because again, you're going to be with the man and you're going to talk to him. If you, for example, have Mercury in Virgo, you're very detailed. You will come with the list. Okay, so we did this. I think you offended me here. I think you said something wrong over here. So you're very particular about how you express yourself. You're very diplomatic, and you have proof. You're not just coming and throwing words into the air. Now, and imagine your man is with Mercury in Sagittarius. That man in Sagittarius is going to laugh in your face with your list and with your kind of with your ideas of talking to him like he's like he's your employer or something like that. You see, so you need to make sure that so Mercury is not as important, but at least you know what to expect from your man. If your man is if like with this, my friend, the friend of mine, I told you, I know that his Mercury is in the Aries, so I know he can blurt out something. I know that he loud when he speaks. I know that he could he speaks the truth, like there is nothing, like without any kind of sugarcoating. I know that about him. So I'm prepared. I'm prepared that he could do something like that again, but he knows that I don't like it. So, but if I would talk to a complete stranger and he would just start speaking loudly, we're in the restaurant, he would start like really, really being loud and expressive. I might not like it that much. So at least you know what to expect from your man. Again, the way he speaks doesn't mean he is that. It's just the way he's him communicating. So let's just go really fast. Mercury in Aries are very expressive. You know, they're loud. They're like kids. They don't like something, they say it, and you just need to kind of to be prepared for anything. Mercury in Taurus are very delicate. I would even say diplomatic. No, but they don't speak much. They're careful. They do say the truth, but they're careful about how they express it. So, and you can speak to them. They're okay to speak. You can negotiate money with them. They don't mind to kind of any kind of Mercury in the earth signs. You can speak to them about anything you want. They won't be offended. So now Mercury in Gemini. So Mercury in any air sign is actually not like they can hear you, but they wouldn't remember. So these are the people that you can repeat, but don't repeat too much. So not to get on their like don't start nagging too much. So man in Gemini are very communicative. So just because they communicate with you doesn't mean nothing. You might be one of many. So to say, just because they say something like, "Oh, we should go to Key West," doesn't mean that he's going. He's just saying. So just be aware of that. Mercury in Gemini is just likes to talk, and for the most part, Mercury in Cancer are very emotional. This is the guy that will be writing you stories like this, that will be sending you 100 emojis, and will be like, "Oh my God, I love you. We have such a strong connection." These are just, just his emotions. If you are into that, go for it. I mean, I really don't like that much, so I wouldn't go. It doesn't give me nothing. All this, the words, the sweet words, do not affect me anyhow. They annoy me. So for the most part, I wouldn't go for that. But this is what you should expect. They also expect that from you, obviously. So what they are presenting themselves, they expect from you. And if you will not be sending him the messages like this, he will be all upset. Why don't you, and this and that, and it will be just never-ending conversation. So Mercury in Leo. Those people, when they speak, because they need validation, they validate others. So they're usually very presentable when they speak. Their speech is good. They're very expressive. They usually they validate the person that they speak, and they also expect you to validate them back. So they're good communicators, I would say, as long as you don't put them down. If you put them down, the conversation will be out very soon. So be prepared for that. Mercury in Virgo are very good communicators. You can sit with them. The best people to make prenup with. Highlight everything in the relationship. You can you can talk to them about the relationship before even the relationship. They will be all for it. Mercury in Libra, people are very social. Again, not deep in their conversations, but they're very light. If you want somebody to be light, to have a couple glasses of wine and to talk, this is the man for you. Again, he could be talking to somebody else as well. So be prepared for this. These people are light. So if you have friends over, chances are he will be talking to your friends. Doesn't mean he will cheat on you, but he will be talking. And if you will tell him, "I don't want you to talk to my friends," he will get upset and he will leave you, because you will be closing on his kind of a way of communication. He's not going to cheat. If you are a jealous person, then don't get a man with Mercury in Libra. Don't get anything with anything in Libra, a man with anything in Libra if you're a jealous type, because this is just how he will be. Oh, I'm Sagittarius. So Mercury in Scorpio. I am Mercury in Scorpio. These are people, these are men, they don't speak much, they're deep, they want you almost to guess what they feel. They always speak in some kind of riddles. They like the deeper kind of meaning of everything. So it's kind of hard to know what is exactly on their mind, because they don't know themselves, like this. It might be something today, tomorrow it's different. So you will never exactly know what that person, what that man feels, and because he will never really fully express himself. So if you are into mystery, this is a man for you. Mercury in Sagittarius, are not going to explain themselves much. You can say to him something, give him some time to think, remind him in a couple of weeks, he will probably respond, but these are not a good communicators. Again, the higher planets, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and these are not a good communicators. Don't expect anything from them. If you will be like, my feelings are hurt. I mean, Sagittarius, Mercury and Sagittarius will not even listen to you. Will be out very, very fast with your feelings and your kind of deep wounds and traumas and all that. So Mercury and Sagittarius are not interested in these conversations. Don't expect it from him. His way of communication is very brief. He says what he wants, what's important for him. He wants to hear what's important for you, as long as it's not too mushy kind of, if you are like, oh, you know what, yesterday we were laying and talking for hours and I felt so great, it will never happen, but still. And he would not know how to reciprocate. He will be like I don't need this kind of watery stuff. So these are Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury in Capricorn are usually to the point. So tell what you want, tell what you need, let him decide whether he can give you that or not. They are not going to talk much. They are not emotional, so don't expect from them long text messages. When they text very brief, and always to the point. They don't understand why somebody would get upset when they don't write them whole life stories. So these are Mercury and Capricorn. Again, these people are somewhat like stones, so don't expect much from them in communication. If you value somebody that you can talk the whole night through, then get yourself Mercury in Gemini. You can be talking about anything you want. Or you can get yourself Mercury in Cancer, and then that man will be telling how much he loves you the whole night long. And then you ask him for a present, he'll be like, but I don't have money like this. But I love you, I can give you love. All right, so Mercury in Aquarius, very liberal, I would say. Very, their opinions are very different. They don't like to speak. When they speak, their communication is usually on a different kind of level. They are not going to be talking about anything deep, no emotions, no how you feel, not how anything. This is not Mercury in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius will speak about some mysteries, some theories, some killings. I had this friend, she had Mercury in Aquarius. She would watch all these documentaries on serial killers and some conspiracy theories and all this stuff. This is what she would talk about. If I would be talking about something like my boyfriend, she would be like, why do you even care about it? So this is basically your man. Mercury in Pisces is deep, but deep on some kind of social level. So they can talk about the political situation. If they would talk about, and they would do it when they drink. They are not really big communicators, honestly. So don't again expect deep kind of thoughts. They are though very could get pessimistic. So this man would get very pessimistic if you let them, especially if they are getting if they're drinking or they're taking something, they could get very they're heavy in communication. So this is Mercury. Look where your man's Mercury is, and you will know how he communicates and what to expect from him. Again, don't expect from him text messages like this if his Mercury is in Aquarius or Sagittarius. This will never happen. I mean, if he has Mercury in Aries, you can kind of teach him, you can hint, you can tell him, he will try. Mercury in Aquarius or Sagittarius would not even try, so don't even bother them with that if you want to keep that man in your life. Find yourself a friend or come to me on the consultations. We can talk about your emotions and everything, but don't bother your man with this stuff. I mean, again, you need a man, not a girlfriend that will be listening to your complaints. This is Mercury, also very important. And the last one that is very important is Venus. Why is it very important? Venus is the femininity. So this is something that a man expects from his woman. This is the woman that he will be attracted to. Like we're attracted to man, where our Mars is. Like I always was attracted to man, like Capricorns. Why? Because my Mars is in Capricorn. A man will be attracted to woman where his Venus is. So this is very important. As I said, the man that I really loved, his Venus was in Pisces. Maybe if I would be a little bit like his imaginary kind of woman in Pisces, and I know why he was in my life, because my moon is in Pisces, so I can be like that. But I wasn't. I thought that he wanted the woman. I was trying to be like him, unbothered and really like cool. But he didn't want that. He wanted a woman who would be feminine, who would be soft and receptive, kind of like that, quieter, kind of, like calmer. But I wasn't like that. I was trying to be like him. So this is important placement, important because you can kind of tweak yourself a little bit. Again, I'm not for you to change yourself to impress a man. But if this man is important and everything else is perfect, then maybe you can at least try a little bit. So let's go through them really fast. Venus is in Aries, is an independent woman. It's a woman that can control her life and can do everything in her life. So a man with Venus in Aries will expect his woman to be, maybe to have some kind of career or at least some kind of plans for her life. That's a woman who is not emotionally dependent on him or even security dependent. He is going to support her, but he wants to have this Amazon kind of woman, this fighter in his life. You see. So a man, Venus in Taurus is a woman that is really likes everything beautiful, likes good food, likes good surrounding, likes to dress nice, always have the impeccable style. This is the woman he will be looking for. So if your Venus is not in Taurus, but let's say in Gemini, and you really don't care how you look, you only care about the communication, it will be hard for him because he wants a princess, and now he got this kind of this social butterfly who doesn't care how she dresses or not dresses. You see, so maybe you can make a little effort. Now, Venus in Gemini is a woman. If a man has a Venus in Gemini, he expects a woman to be really social, to be liked, to be communicative, to connect easy with others, not to really be bothered by anything, not to be too much into spending an hour putting makeup on, like a light one, let's go out. Yeah, let's go out. Let me just put a little lipstick on like this. This is what you want. So if you're not her again, maybe you can make a little effort. Now, Venus in Cancer is the woman who cares for men, who like to bake, who like to stay at home, who like to kind of this kind of romantic stuff, who like to maybe go for massages together, like to have like couples retreats, something like that. So this is he will be looking for a woman like this. Not necessarily you have to cook, but somebody who is kind of homey, who values time one-on-one, so to say. And if you are not that, then maybe you can try. Maybe you guys can have dates, just you and him, just value that time together. And Venus and Cancer, usually they have this kind of, they have a good dress code. They dress nice, they dress very feminine. So maybe you can try with that too. Now, women, Venus in Leo, these women are bright. They are very expressive. They are very, they are not afraid of publicity. They actually welcome publicity. They love to be in the spotlight, and men love them. I remember I had this man, and he had Venus and Leo. And at that time, I was very much on the spotlight. I'm not sure whether the planets were staying like this, but I was very all over the place. And he loved me for that. And I told him, you don't know real me, because this is not real me. It's only, and I know why you love me, because you think I'm all the time like this, and I'm not. And this is exactly what happened. When I went back to my real self, he was like, well, why you not... why you don't want to go out? Why you don't want to kind of to talk to anybody? And I'm like, because this is how I am. I'm not that kind of queen that you thought I am. So Venus in Leo is the queen, and this is what a man will look for. So if you want to keep this man, try to be somewhat like that. Now, Venus in Virgo, a practical woman, practical, very kind of So if a man has a Venus in Virgo, he would appreciate if you will say, no, don't buy me flowers. Buy me better house plants. They can live longer and they can stay longer. Or instead of buying a whole bunch of cheap jewelry, just buy me one good diamond. It would be good for our family, like this. So a man will be looking for something like this in you. Now, and you don't have to save on yourself. As I said, instead of him buying some kind of useless presents, he can just buy you one good present, one solid good present, and that would be really good. Okay, so my God, it's an hour already. All right, just bear with me. This is important info. And Venus in Libra, women are very high maintenance. This is the best gold digger. So a man will expect you to be like that, not a gold digger, but expect you to be high maintenance, to be very effortlessly stylish, to be this kind of almost fairy that everybody wants but nobody gets, and he expects you to be almost unachievable, like that. Try to be like that if your man has a Venus in Libra. This is what he will be like and looking for. Now, Venus in Scorpio are women that are deep. So a man and women who love somewhat drama, who love different kind of the deep flirtations, almost seductions, like to fight almost. I mean, sounds crazy, but I know quite a few people like this. So he will expect you to be like that, to be somewhat on that level. They will look for drama in life. They will almost fight and then reconnect just to have this crazy makeup sex, So, try to be like that. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't be with the man who has Venus or Mars in Scorpio. I wouldn't date anything in Scorpio, to tell the truth. So, Venus in Sagittarius are women, me, women that are not very consistent, that like to travel, that like to almost change partners. So if a man is like this, be like that. Be almost like non-committal, so to say. Be almost different every single time. A man will appreciate you in his life, even though you think that he wants somebody to commit. No, he doesn't. He wants to have a challenge in his life. Now, a Venus in Capricorn are women that are almost women that you can build legacy with. So this is a man will expect you from. So if, for example, you're telling him, oh, I have a whole bunch of admirers, he wouldn't even take you serious. You know why? Because he wants a woman he can build empire with, and you are here with all this bunch of admirers. You can have the admirers. Don't throw it into his face all the time. He knows already that you are a queen, that he needs to fight for you. But better tell him that, yes, my focus is to have a legacy, to have a man with whom I can build empire with, like that. You can have the admirers on the side, anybody else, but tell him what he wants to hear. This is Venus in Capricorn. Now, Venus in Aquarius is a woman that has unusual thinking, a woman that is not predictable, definitely not a woman who sits at home, cooks and cleans, definitely not. He wants a woman who has ideas, who is very unusual, so be somewhat like that. I don't know, maybe start dressing up differently, change your hair every half a year or something. So do change. He would appreciate. And Venus in Pisces is a woman who is sensitive, who is vulnerable in a good way, who is soft, who doesn't speak too loud. So this is a Venus in Pisces. If a man values that, then maybe appreciate that time that he wants to spend. Like, I remember this guy, he was very masculine. Then he's like, let's stay at home and cook. Okay, let's stay at home and cook. I don't cook, but if you want, and he was cooking because his Venus was in Pisces. He expected me to be somewhat homey like that. Now my Venus is in Sagittarius. I could have tried, yeah, I could have, because I can a little cook if I could, or at least stay with him when he's cooking, but I didn't. You see, I didn't do it. Now you don't do my mistake. All right, I'm going to tell you a little more. If you have questions, ask. I also wanted to, these are important placements that you need to pay attention to. Everything else, where his Uranus is, his Neptune, are not important. As I said, this is his kind of social planets. This is how he is going to present himself in society, how he's going to develop, has nothing to do with you. Don't look at those placements. They have nothing really to do with you. What else would I look for? I would look at his oppositions. I also would look where his sun and moon are standing in them, and I would look for some kind of squares. Why? So if his sun and moon are opposing each other, let's imagine his sun is in Pisces and his moon is in Virgo. That means that his outside and his inside are always fighting. And he will be always tormented, and you will never know why it is. So you really have nothing to do with that, honestly, but just be prepared that there will be moments when he would be doubting himself, tormenting himself, and you will never know, and you will not be able to do anything. So just let him be, like whatever he is. Now, on the other hand, if his sun and moon are both in Pisces, it's a conjunction. So his his sun, his outside and his inside are in complete harmony with each other. This man will be very self-centered. Be prepared for that. He really wouldn't care much for you or anybody else. The priority for him will be him, only him in his life. Now, because he will be so self-centered, he will teach you how to be self-centered, and he will take care of all of you. But you just need to remember that that he will be somewhat selfish, and this would be absolutely normal. Ideally, everybody should be like this. So I would look into that. Also, I would look into, as I said, I would look at the opposition. So if his Venus and Mars are opposing each other, again, you guys will be fighting. So why? Because his inner masculinity, inner femininity are fighting. No matter where your Venus and Mars is, he will be looking for fights. He will be the one initiating those fights. So I probably wouldn't do. Now, what is opposing? It's the opposite sign. So, for example, if his Venus is in Scorpio and his Mars is in Taurus, there will be inner fights and they will be outside. So any kind of oppositions like this, I would look. I would also look for big trines, big squares. This could indicate that his life would be maybe not as long as you would want it to be. But I wouldn't get that deep. I would also look at any kind of conjunction. So, for example, if his Sun conjunct his Saturn, that means that his Saturn will not allow him to shine. He will be very strict on himself at all times. So this is something to keep in mind. Really doesn't have nothing to do with you, but this is something that he will be. Again, looking at when you look at your chart and his chart, make sure that Venus and Mars, Moon and Sun are somewhat compatible. If your Sun is in Pisces and his Sun is in Libra, you guys are opposites, like very different people. So unless you learn how to live together differently like this, you will be just tormenting each other. So the same with Mars. As I said, if your Mars is in Capricorn, you're very strict. You want a man who's very confident, very particular about the life, very secure in his life. And his Mars is in Cancer. He wants the same. He wants a man who is going to take care of him. He wants a woman who will take care of her. Yeah, he will be very sweet and very emotional, but what is he going to give you in life? I mean, he will be giving you the sweet words, the sex will be good, but is this really what you want? You inside want the man who is secure and confident. So don't, if your Mars signs are opposing each other, no, that won't work. It's too much. It's opposites. It's not like maybe a little bit tweaking here or there. The same with Venus sign. If your Venus is in Sagittarius and his Venus is in Gemini, again, they're somewhat compatible, but they're completely different. You see, it's like you guys will be living in the same room, but they're completely different lives. So I would look into that as well. And I would look for the Moon. The Moon has to be compatible if you want to stay a long time with this guy. If it's short-term kind of thing, then really none of this matters. Maybe the Mars. If you are looking to get presence from a man, then look at his Mars. This is what he's doing. Mars is what him giving the presence. Choose the man with Mars in Leo, Mars in Aries, Mars in Sagittarius. This man that are easy, give money easy. For my clients who are inspired to get money from men, who are inspired to get presence from men, this is what I tell them: get a man with Mars in fire signs. They will be spenders. Mars in water signs are spenders too, but you need to be emotionally connected to him. So when you are like really, really connected, then you can ask him something. But again, it depends on his mood, on his emotions, on everything. But the big spenders are Mars and Leo. You validate his ego somehow, he gets you the present. And they are not afraid to spend. They're really spenders. Now, if you want to have a husband like this, be careful with that, because he might might not always have the money, because again, he's a spender. Like this, if you want to build a family with somebody, security family, then maybe you need to choose men with the placements in earth signs. So they're stable, they're consistent, they will not be changing you here and there. Maybe not though with the Virgo. Virgo is kind of strange sign. they're not as much, they're more on, they connect on the heart, so they're not as deep into in the families. If you want to build a family with somebody who has a lot of air placements, you can, but don't expect from them to build that family. This is you who is going to be holding them down somewhat, and they will eventually, they will get used to you, and they will be okay with having a family. If you want somebody just for fun to really have like amazing sex, then choose somebody with a lot of placements in water. You will have the best emotional kind of connection and sex. I mean, he will do anything for you. I mean, those people are amazing when it comes to intimacy. And if this is what you're looking for, if you're looking for sweet words, for kind of sweet little actions, for stuff like that, this is what these people will do for you. This man, long term though, be careful not to drown in their waters, because when a man is not developing his masculinity, and a woman obviously too, the water will get dirty and depressive, and if you will be in it, you will get stuck, and at one point you will almost hate yourself and hate him. So be careful with that. This is now, if you are looking for a bright kind of connection, maybe even social connection, then choose somebody energy of fire. You will be on the spot for a long time. It burns bright, but it goes down very fast unless one of you can keep the grounding. So it's a good placement, for example, for a summer fling. I mean, amazing. You will get a lot of presence, a lot of actions, and then you kind of in fall you can find yourself somebody energy of water to keep you emotionally tight. So see what is important for you. As I said, I told you what I would not go for. I would not go for anything Virgo. And my second husband was Virgo. I didn't know nothing about that yet. He spoke very smoothly. He said the things that I wanted to hear again, but we were very not. And I actually attract Virgos, but we were not. Once he started speaking truth, once the truth started coming out, and it came out not exactly as I wanted it to come out. I mean, I understand. I started seeing the real him, and I was used to have a masculine man in my life. I didn't know that there could be this depth and this shallowness in a person who is a man, kind of. So I would not go for, not because of him, I would not go for any Virgo placements. And I have a lot of girlfriends who are Virgos and have a lot of Virgo placements. I appreciate them very much. But for a man, I think these placements are not good, unless you want somebody, that movie Sleeping with the Enemy. This is life with the Virgo. This is basically what you are writing yourself for. I would not go for any moon in water signs, because I don't need this emotional kind of deepness. I already deep in it. So one of us has to be somewhat light. If I would want to have a steady, secure family, I wouldn't go for air. Again, because these are people, they don't really care for money, for security, for anything. So unless you show them unless they value you so much that you will say, listen, I understand that you don't care for security, but the security is important for me. Can we have a savings account for me where you can put some money every single month, so at least I will feel secure? And if you are important for him, he will do that for you. It's not a problem, but he will need you to be also on his side somewhat, and easy to kind of to pick up and go. Otherwise, he will get tired of you. So if you are looking for security, not traveling, not moving much around, then probably this man is not for you. You might feel excited about them, but if that's not what you're looking for, then maybe not. And again, what I need to mention, a man comes to your life for a reason, for a particular reason. So if he came, look into yourself. Why you attracted that man? Like why my second husband was energy of had a lot of Virgo placements. Why? Maybe that because I needed that kind of diplomatic kind of practicality in my life. Maybe that's what I was missing. And I remember that time I was very masculine, very kind of even aggressive, I would say. So yeah, that's the reason why he came. When I became again aggressive, I mean, he backed out and backed out really bad. So what I want to say is that men come in for a reason, for a particular reason. See why this man came into your life. But if this man is important for you, you want to keep him, then learn his placements. Again, don't ask him on the first day, when about his natal chart, because a lot of men really react onto that, and I wouldn't blame them. If somebody would ask me, I would be like, what a freak. But you can ask him, hey, when is your birthday, when should I prepare the present? And then you will figure out, his year. You can make like some natal chart, and just see where his Mars is, see where his Sun is, Mercury, Venus, and Moon, if you're able to get it. And you will learn so much more about your man. You will see how to act. You will maybe adjust yourself a little bit. You will know what to expect, so you wouldn't react anyhow. Again, if you would have somebody with Mercury in Pisces, and the man is not reacting to you talking about some kind of news, and he's just in his dreamy self over there, I mean, you just know, yeah, okay, so this man has Mercury in Pisces. Why am I bothering him with news? I mean, he doesn't even read the news. So you would not get upset with him. You would not tell him, oh, you never listened to me. You just know. I mean, he's like this, and that's it. Maybe I can discuss news with somebody else. Or if your man has masculine kind of placements, and you want to treat him as your own therapist, maybe also not the best idea. Maybe you can come and talk to me, and leave your man alone in his masculine world. So this is very helpful. Again, don't try to predict everything at once, because that's not interesting. You need to know the person, right? But again, be flexible. Be flexible and know what to expect, not what not to expect. As I said, I don't like to make a natal chart right away, because I want to get to know the person. Certain things, if I will find out, I probably wouldn't even talk to him. So if I know that his Sun is in Pisces, probably that's it. The conversation is over right before it starts. So anything Virgo, okay, that's it. Maybe he's an amazing man, but for me, we're already done. Or like placements like this. So as I said, some of my best relationship was with men in air, and at that time I wanted deep relationship, but I didn't know that with man energy of air, you have to kind of approach them a little differently if you want to have something deep. So, but these were amazing relationship, and I couldn't understand um, why they couldn't naturally progress. um, why couldn't they naturally progress and naturally become something deeper? Because that's what it is. Because man had a lot of placements in air, they were not really naturally progressing. I should have told him, listen, if you want to stay with me, let's commit, let's do something. But I didn't, and I was expecting him to do. And he thought, if I'm with him, not only one, a few of them, if I'm with them, I'm happy, and that's what it is. All right, I think that's it. If there are no questions, we're going to finish. Sorry that it's longer than an hour, but I think this information is important. Let me know if you have questions. Again, I have a group on Facebook. You can add yourself there. It's Anastasia Zatula's Feminine Space. You can ask me questions there. I mean, I'm sure it will be also useful for others. This week, the new moon starts on Friday, not on Friday, on Thursday evening. So I start energy alignments on Friday. If you need, let me know. Again, don't forget to clean your space. Wednesday, Thursday would be perfect. This is like some little announcements. and that's it. If you have questions, do ask. But I hope it was useful. Send it to anybody who needs it, who needs to hear this. Remember, don't change your man. Don't try to change your man. Try to understand why he is in your life. There is a reason why this man with displacements is in your life. Maybe if you have a man with Mercury in Aquarius and he's loud and obnoxious and everything, and you just hate it, maybe he's in your life because you do not allow yourself to express yourself. Maybe he came to show you that it's okay to be expressive. It's okay to be somewhat loud. You see, there is a reason why we attract certain people. We attract what we need at that particular moment. So if you got a man with Venus in Scorpio, this is the man that loves drama, that loves kind of like this depth, intimacy, and like some freaky stuff. Maybe this is what you're craving inside, but you don't allow yourself to. So you got a man who is like that. Remember, this is important. Don't try to change him. Don't change anybody. Don't change yourself. Don't try to change him. Try to understand what is he showing you. Like me, I'm attracted to man energy of air because I don't have energy of air in me. So for me, they're like pandas, like something I never saw, but I think it's very cute. I want to kind of to explore that, navigate that energy I'm just not sure how to approach that energy because I never really had it. I'm not sure how to work with it. You see? So instead of you, like me, I was in love with the man, energy of air, and I tried to ground him. I tried to make him not energy of air, but yet I loved him for being energy of air. So you see, and that was my mistake. I exhausted myself. He got tired of that too. At one point, I was like, I couldn't do it no more. I basically broke up with him, then tried to reconnect again and again. I exhausted myself, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I don't have energy for this roller coaster. So, but if I would have accepted him as he is and just explore him as he is, explore his life, try to get to know him deeper, try to see life from his perspective, maybe our relationship would be happy for a long, long time. So don't try to change a man. Don't try to tell your man, well, you never listen to me, you never send me sweet messages, if he is not capable of that. Try to see. Maybe you're too dependent on those sweet messages. Maybe it's not the sweet messages you need. Maybe it's the self-love that you need. Maybe he came to show you that you are capable of living without those sweet messages yourself. Maybe, like this. Like, there's a reason why this man is in your life. Or if you got a man who is Taurus sun, for example, those men are always have some money stashed up, always feel secure, they never feel like, maybe this man is in your life to show you that this is important for you, that this is something that you need to have. Like me, I have a lot of Scorpio placements, so I attract a lot of Tauruses because Scorpio is basically looking for security their whole life, and Taurus is the one who has the security since birth. So you see, we're helping each other to develop. Again, don't change your man, because you will change him to what? You attracted to him for a reason. And even if I would have a man with Virgo placements, again, I would not change him. Yes, these are not the placements, and they're not my favorite placements. But if he came to my life, there is a reason why he came into my life, and I will look into that. I will look why did he came into my life, and what do I need to learn? And when you will learn that lesson, maybe he will just move out from your life. Who knows? You just don't hold on to it. But don't try to change the man. This will not do. Don't try to change you as well. Maybe add a little bit, like I said, if his Venus is in Leo and he wants this kind of queen, then maybe act like a queen. Don't try to serve him. Act as a queen. Tell him, I don't feel like cooking. Let's go out, and he will take you out because he is attracted to a queen, not to a server. Or if your man has a Venus in Libra, he wants a woman who is this unapproachable kind of queen, not even like unapproachable fairy. And now you are always available. I mean, really, this is not what he wants. So maybe you can be a little unapproachable. Maybe you can, instead of going out with him all the time, maybe you can go with your friends once in a while and not feel guilty for that. So like this, don't change yourself fully and completely, obviously, but just little changes. He will try to change a little bit, you will try to change a little bit, and this is how you build a perfect relationship. All right, that's it. If there are no questions, we're going to be done. Please do watch the video from Thursday. It says problems with men, here is why. There is always 3 reasons why you have problems with masculinity. Maybe this video today will help you with that video as well, because you need to heal yourself first deep inside, and then you can connect with the man and grow with him like you would do after this video. All right, that's it. I hope everybody got the information they wanted. If you have questions, write on the Facebook group, please, so everybody else will see and we can just talk, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate that information. It's a closed group, so it's not like somebody will sneak in and read our conversations. And that's it. I will see you next Sunday at 11. If you have any ideas on future conversations, let me know. Again, I will put the videos on different energies of man in this video in the description, so do watch them. And that's it. Bye, TikTok. Thank you for being here with me. And bye, YouTube. Thank you very much for your support. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next Sunday. Please send this video to anybody who might find it useful. And I will see you next Sunday at 11. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday.